we shot in Hawaii, on the North Shore of the Big Island, doubling for the jungles of Peru.
Is it funnier if she says get down and she goes down and we all get down and we cover the rest?
Let's try that. Let me see what that feels like.
Get down!
Get down!
Well, that's good. That's good. That's nice. That's funny. That's funny. Okay, Pasha, take your mark away from us one step. One step. Right there, that's good. I was fortunate to have great location managers, which is a very hard job. These are unsung heroes who have to secure the locations, often against great odds. And it was just a tremendous effort on everybody's part, and there were hundreds of people involved, moving this gigantic army from place to place.
One of the hardest things about finding locations on this film was that in 2007, to try and recreate 1957, and then to try to recreate 1957 primitive jungle, it's very hard to find primeval, untouched jungle. We had searched Mexico, Guatemala, Central America, Puerto Rico. We had looked all over for this. And then we decided to look again in Hawaii. It had early on been rejected, but we looked again in Hawaii.
We knew that for the jungle chase that we had to find a long road where we could run these vehicles. The location we found in Hawaii was fantastic. It's 16,000 acres, it's private, it's relatively easy to control, and it had a mile-long road through some incredible jungle. So the property owners granted us the ability to cut some roads adjacent to the main road so we could do our chase and run vehicles back and forth. And it was as close to being on a back lot as you could find.
Of course, being in a jungle, there are certain expectations from the jungle. You want the hot sun filtered through the branches. You like a little bit of a mist, so all that stuff we were able to do. Unfortunately, for me, I had to deal with the natural elements, and again, the natural elements are not always very friendly towards the cinematographer.
You know, it's incredibly hot, millions of mosquitoes everywhere, so you have to spray yourself down in the mornings with all this mosquito spray, which wasn't the nicest stuff.
Funny, I don't remember the weather being awful, but I have to say, usually women get the worst of, the clothing thing. I have to say, this being my costume, this sort of just shirt and vest, I'm the more appropriately dressed of the entire group. Poor John in the double-layered wool poncho, Harrison and Shia in leather jackets. So, they probably felt the heat more than I did.
Put your hand under his neck when you're driving. Can you steer like that? Yeah. Well, just lift him up. Is it okay if I can lift you up a little bit? That's great. That's what we got to do. Got to do that.
Steve wanted this specific fight on these moving vehicles, so we had to sort of choreograph it, and it's over 3 vehicles, so it's not like it's just 2 vehicles driving alongside each other. They're actually zigzagging through a jungle. There's trees going past and branches and all sorts of obstacles that are getting in their way. The road's uneven, so it's bumpy and all that. So it's it's a lot of choreography involved.
Come over, pull him round. Right. There. You know what I mean? And if you have to do anything, just give him a up and then go into it.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, pull up, please.
It was tricky because, we've purpose-built these vehicles for us to do the fight on. The ground was incredibly bumpy over there, so we had to think of a way that we could have the stunt doubles or the actor and actress on there, everyone in there, in a safe way. So, we played with different ideas and all that, and, we use wires quite a bit there just to hold them to the vehicles, but you have to be able to have them to have free movement around the vehicle to make sure that they can obviously choreograph the fight. They can't just be sort of tethered off in one place, otherwise it just wouldn't look any good, So it was a hard job to get around, but everyone did a really good job with it.
Like that, crank. Yeah? Oh no, yeah, or that one.
If you're going to do Indiana Jones, you've got to be prepared to be physical, I think, you know. And it's great because, you know, when you get to a certain age, you always think you're not going to do those type of movies anymore. And probably you get to a certain age, that's when you start doing them, I don't know. But that's been fun.
All right.
Shooting the first half of this was all physical. First half of the whole movie was physical. It wasn't a lot of character stuff till we got home, which was great. It's like shooting two different movies, at least from my perspective. You know, it's hard to maintain character in a sword fight. You can't, and you're supposed to, but it's a whole different shooting style even for Steven, you know, where he only wants to do those fights 2 or 3 times.
Action. I think it's better to use the first 6 figures all the way over and let it fall off.
You've got to be ready for anything because Steven does change things up in the moment. It's a great way to work actually because it means that everything you do is really fueled by adrenaline, focused adrenaline, you hope.